Okay, welcome back to the Earthstar Tribrid channel. I am your host, Earthstar Tribrid. Um, I just posted two videos, part one and part two. Um, yeah, part one got cut out early. I was getting a lot of interference with that. Even when I was asking who I was speaking to, dark energy basically were coming in and trying to mess it up. So I was getting a lot of interference, so they didn't want me to say anything about that. But guess what? It's coming out. So we are now doing a channeled read on the Native Americans versus the Europeans. Everybody knows the whole backstory between all that, okay? I am going to put my few cents into this, and then we're going to kind of clarify with the pendulum. We do not own any land, okay? This is not their land. This is not our land. This is God's land, for one, okay? We are all just guests here, and we've been taking it for granted, and we've been treating it like shit in all senses, okay? And from what I also know, like, Europeans are not innocent, Native Americans are not innocent, okay? There have been definitely stories about, pillaging, killing, beating, raping, selling on all sides, on both sides, okay? Just keep that in mind. Not one of these guys are fully innocent. And when I say fully innocent, I mean like as a whole, not individual people, okay? As a whole, European, because like for them to sit there and say all Europeans are bad, no, we're not. And not all Native Americans are bad, and not all Native Americans are good, and not all Europeans are good. There is a mixture, okay? And to sit there and say like this was our land first, no, it wasn't. You did not make those mountains. You did not make those trees. You did not make that river. God did. The All High Almighty did. So show a little bit more respect. No one owns this land. Yes, on 3D paper, okay, whatever. But we're talking in terms of not 3D, but of 5D. This is not our land. It is God's land. And we need to start showing it a little bit more proper respect. Alright? I know plenty of stories where, tribes versus tribes. Where some tribes go in, start, pillaging and raping the women, selling the women, kidnapping women. And it's the same thing on both sides. Okay? So, just. I've been getting a lot of, I can get backlash for this. I really don't care. I'm just here to get the messages out. And this is my personal take on the situation. There you go. Confirmation. And quite frankly, when people of all kinds sit here and say, this is our land, we own this land. No, you do. You are temporary, okay? If this was really your land, you wouldn't go anywhere, okay? You would be a permanent resident, and neither one of us are permanent residents. We are all temporary residents. 333 on the timer. So, am I speaking to the All High Almighty? Am I speaking with Jesus Christ? Am I speaking with anyone else other than the two of you? Okay. Do you swear upon Jesus Christ's name that you are telling me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. Is what I just said accurate in your eyes? Yes. Is it fair for one race to claim land as their own? No. Because it's your land? Yes. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Native American Indians versus the Europeans. What would you like for us to talk about specifically? And also, before I go any further, I also like to sit there and say, if you think about it, it could be some type of karma for the Europeans to come over. Yes, everybody's like, oh, well, they were sent over to look for new land. Yeah, true, very true. However, it could have been some type of karma for something that was being done over on God's land. And like I said, like, yes, you guys worship, the actual land, you cultivated it, and, what have you. But if you've done bad in any way, shape, or form, everyone has to reap some type of karma. Everybody has to reap what they sow eventually. And that could have been part of the karma. Just throwing that out there. I'm also hearing Henry VIII. I don't know I don't think he has anything to do with this specifically, but I do feel I feel like he was coming out a lot too, so I think I might do a read on him as well. I don't think he's in heaven for everything he's done. I think he might actually be in hell. Alright. Anyway, back to the focus. What is it that you would like to talk about between the Native Americans and the Europeans first? 1, 2, 2, 4, and 5. Alright, 12245 is the postal code in Albany, New York. Isn't that where where did the Pilgrims land? Hold on a second. Yeah, but where is that? Massachusetts. Okay. Alright. So we're looking at railroad station here. Ocean. So obviously crossing the ocean. Albany, New York, but it was saying something about Albany, New York. Okay. The number sequence 12245 combines the meanings of 1, 2, 4, and 5 with specific emphasis on spiritual implications of 1224 and 245. The overall spiritual meaning is associated with new beginning, spiritual growth, adaptability, and embracing positive change that is aligned with your divine purpose. It suggests a period of transformation, encouraging you to maintain faith and move forward with a renewed sense of purpose and stability. Okay, so represents deconstructing the numbers. 1 represents new beginnings, leadership, and the power to create your own reality. 2 symbolizes balance, harmony, diplomacy, and partnerships. Plymouth Rock. 4, well, we just also had Thanksgiving just passed, so 4 indicates the need to work hard, be practical, and lay a strong foundation for the future. 5 signifies major life changes, personal freedom, and adaptability, and new opportunities. The number 12, a combination of 1 and 2 that points toward new beginnings and finding a balance in your life. 24 indicates that a period of transformation will require adaptability and positive changes to achieve your goals. 45, a message that changes ahead are necessary for a spiritual growth and will lead to a more stable and harmonious life. Which is the okay, alright. The number sequence 12245 is a powerful reminder to embrace the new chapter you are entering. It suggests that this transition will involve hard work and adaptability, but it is necessary and positive step guided by a divine purpose. Have faith in your ability to navigate these changes and trust that they will lead you to greater stability, freedom, and a stronger connection on your spiritual path. Okay. What would you like to speak on? So apparently they want, it's the harmonious thing. They want something with harmony. They want us, because like, oh, you need to give us back our land. It's not your land. Like I said, it's not your land. It's not our land. It's no one's land. We are all here on God's land, okay? So stop trying to claim it as yours. As I'm talking to both here, both. It's not any of ours, okay? We all need to learn how to live together in harmony. Okay, so my question here is, what was the reason? Like, I mean, other than they were looking for new land, okay? They wanted to expand and see what was out there and stuff. Other than that, what was the divine reason as to, because, you know, God always has a plan, right? Everything always is part of God's plan. So, what was your reason for that? What is that? Not looking. Question. Sagittarius. 10. Q. Okay. Do you need me to pull out any more letters? Yes. We got Cancer, South Node, Adaptability, which is mutable. Okay. Should that be in the South Node or North Node? South Node? North Node. Alright, South Node. Okay. Oh, do you need me to pull out any more letters? Yes. Okay. We got a lot. We got 3 question marks here: air, fire, and land, earth. We got Saturn is karma. I told you. I said it. Saturn's karma. Capricorn. We also got winter, and we also have another air. Do you need me to pull out any more letters? No. Okay. We also have the number 9. Okay. What do we got? So this is about the reasoning behind having Europeans come to America. Okay? This is the reasoning behind that. God's reasoning. Not the whole, oh, well, they came here to look for more land and expand to da. No. We already know that. That's the 3D reason. What is the 5D reason? That is what we're asking. certain people will definitely have a hard time accepting this, but it is what it is. I mean, like, everybody has to go through some type of karma. Everyone. Oh, we got a lot of T's. I'm also going to look up what the reasoning of Albany, New York, and Native Americans have on this as well, because that popped up for a reason. So the reasoning was because when you're in your south node, you're not on your right path. So, just FYI. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm seeing out. I was like, do I not have a C out here? Boom. Outsource. I'll look up what that is. I know what that is. I just, like, for some reason, my brain's not telling me exactly why. Why? Outsource. Obtain goods or a service from an outside or foreign supplier, especially in place of an internal source. Outsourcing components from other countries, contract out and or abroad. I mean, that was basically the main thing for why they were going out there anyway. I mean, other than searching for a new land. I'm getting odd. Capricorn. Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn, making this a powerful and natural placement for the planet of discipline and responsibility. People with this placement are typically ambitious, hardworking, and disciplined with a natural understanding of structure and a drive for long-term success. This combination emphasizes traits like caution, persistence, and authority, though it can also lead to a tendency to take on too many responsibilities or become overly focused on traditional methods. Okay. We also got Sagittarius and Saturn. During these periods, there is a focus on the disciplined, responsible, and sometimes challenging themes of Saturn in combination with Sagittarius' focus on expansion, philosophy, and higher learning. This astrological combination can manifest as a need for structure in one's spiritual or educational pursuits, and historically it has been associated with periods of both excess and cultural shifts. Remember the South Node. Okay. And we got 9th and 10th house out here. I believe Sagittarius rules 9th house and Capricorn rules the 10th house. Okay, we also got Cancer out here. So Cancer and Saturn. Indicates a personality that seeks emotional and financial security but may struggle with emotional expression, vulnerability, and setting healthy personal boundaries. So basically what all that says is what you wanted. That's what you wanted for both parties. Okay? Did that happen? No. They took advantage. Europeans took advantage. Native Americans took advantage. Okay, Europeans took advantage. Now, so the Europeans taken advantage. Should the Europeans leave? No. Learn to work in harmony? Okay. Should Europeans give back the land to Native Americans? No. Learn to live and work together? Yes. Are the Europeans doing that? Yes. Are the Native Americans doing that? Yes. Are they doing it to the best of their abilities? No. They can do more? Yes. Prick on my back. Was this in any way karma? Good karma? No. Bad karma? Yes. Bad karma for the Europeans? Yes. Bad karma for the Native Americans? Yes. Okay, so your 5D reasoning for the Europeans to come to Americas, that was to basically learn to work and live together, to expand on both spiritual knowledges, both theirs and ours. Did that happen? No. Is it happening now? No. Okay. In any way, did the bad karma come about? Okay, say, did the Native Americans do anything to call upon the bad karma, which is the Europeans taking advantage? Yes. Was it because they were attacking? Yes. If they were not to attack, would it happen the way it happened? No. So if they would have came together in peace, it would have had a different outcome than it is now. That is a yes. There's a bunch of banging going on outside right now, so that's a yes. Ouch. Understand each other. I'm getting understand each other, but I don't have another H. The relationship between Native Americans and Europeans in Albany, New York, New York area was complex. Initially centered on the fur trade but escalating to conflict due to competition and differing views on land ownership. Yeah. The Dutch established Fort Orange in 1624, which led to trade with the Mohican and, oh good lord, Haudenosaunee, Haudenosaunee, Haudenosauneee, or Mohawk tribes. However, the powerful Mohawk tribe eventually dominated the fur trade, leading to a war with the Mohican people in 1625 that ended the Mohawks' victory, and that ended with the Mohawks' victory in 1628. That's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that we keep fighting each other for what? Because of differences? Because it's stupid. It's really, really stupid. Impact of European diseases. The arrival of Europeans also brought devastating diseases such as smallpox, measles, and diphtheria. To the Native Americans had no immunity. These diseases wiped out large portions of the native population, further disrupting their societies and way of life. Were the diseases part of karma? Was it going to be inevitable? No, it was part of karma. Karma of the Europeans, karma of the Native Americans. I'm not going to use the word, like, I'm going to say it just to say it, but savages. It's only because if you come at somebody aggressively, what are you going to expect them to do? Like, they can't just stand there and let it happen. They have to fight back. And as people start seeing, even when it comes to like anybody else, when people start seeing you as a threat, you know, like that's going to be straight war. Getting conflict. I could have sworn I had more C's, but no. I'm getting conflict. Are there any more messages you want me to get out on this one? No. Move on? Yes. Okay. So we kind of already know what the Europeans did that was against God's law, and that was basically taking advantage. So, like, I had all the right. Okay, so I gotta remember what my questions were. He's getting late and I'm getting tired. So the Europeans got karma for for them taking advantage of the Native Americans, right? What was the Native American, like? So Europeans are getting karma for taking advantage. Were there any other reasons? No. Did the Native Americans do something to get karma? Yes. Okay. What were the Native Americans' reasons? Like, what was the reason? 333. What was the reason for the Native Americans to get karma during this situation? Before I pull that, what were the reasons for Native Americans to be getting their karma when all God wanted us to do was basically start, resourcing out more and this, that, and the third. So what did the Native Americans do to receive the karma that they got between, the Native Americans versus the Europeans? What did they do? Two, three, four, five, five. The number 23455 most commonly refers to the zip code in Virginia Beach, Virginia, with the area code 757. It can also be a medical CPT code for shoulder repair and revision procedures, or have other meanings depending on the context. Isn't that Pocahontas? The relationship between the Native Americans and European colonists in Virginia started with a mix of initial curiosity and hostility. There you go. But quickly devolved the conflict over land, resources, and cultural misunderstandings, okay? Initially, some tribes, like the Powhatan, I am so sorry if I mispronounce any of this. I'm not good at that. Offered hospitality, but this soured as colonists took land and demanded food while also struggling to be self-sufficient. Ultimately, European expansion led to the protracted wars that, while sometimes involving complex alliances, resulted in Native American subjugation and displacement, shaping the future of Virginia and the United States. Okay, the escalation and conflict. Conflicts escalated over time, the colonists ultimately using force to drive Native Americans off their land. Protracted wars, 3 major conflicts took place over 4 decades, ending in 1646 when the English largely dominated the native tribes. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pronounce that. Forced assimilation and displacement. Even after the wars, Native Americans faced continued pressures, including forced relocations, the disruption of their traditions, and restrictions on their movement and rights. Okay. I'm not claiming. Yep, John Smith and Pocahontas. Yep. Okay. So I'm not claiming at all that Europeans were innocent in any of this, but I also feel that the Native Americans were not innocent either. And even though Native Americans didn't intentionally or initially start anything really with Europeans, but I'm wondering if y'all did something within yourselves that just pops to have this come about. So, what was the reason for that coming about? Okay, Jupiter, Autumn, 6, Uranus. Do I need to pull out any more letters for the reason as to why all that came about? No. Okay. So it's all in what was given to me. What did the Native Americans do for the comet to come to that? Did they step out of bounds? 3D? 5D. So they stepped out of bounds on the 5D level. Okay, we're gonna find 6 in Jupiter. Okay, so I'm gonna read the good and the bad. So sixth house, Jupiter in sixth house refers to this placement, which can signify an above average analytical capacity, success in work and service, and good health. However, this placement can also create challenges such as impatience or difficulty with routine and tedious work. Some interpretations suggest that debilitated Jupiter in the sixth house can create a blessing in disguise where challenges are overcome to achieve success. Not a fan of tedious work. Blessings aspects on the 10th, career, 12th, bed pleasures, and second house. So somehow y'all stepped out of bounds on the 5D level, not the 3D level. Okay, 6 in Uranus. Which is associated with work, daily routines, and health. This placement suggests a person who is likely to have unconventional approach to their job and daily life, often seeking freedom and avoiding monotony. It can also indicate a susceptible to stress and nervous disorders and a tendency to use illness to escape oppressive work situations. Monotony, lack of variety and interest, tedious repetition and routine. Is there any more messages out of that? No. Okay. So what were they tedious about? Like, we know a lot about what the Europeans did wrong, but never, obviously they took advantage and they did what they did. But all this came about for a specific reason. So they stepped out of bounds. What exactly, what did I'm trying to get the right question. What did the Native Americans do to step out of bounds? Did it have anything to do with religion? Okay. Did it have anything to do with 3D stuff? No, 5D. Are you talking about the Ten Commandments? Well, obviously, did they even know anything about the Ten Commandments during that time? It's my favorite color red. It's my favorite color blue. It's my favorite animal, the whale. It's my favorite flower, lilies. Okay. Did the Native Americans know of the Ten Commandments? Did they have their own version of Ten Commandments? Did they follow that? No, they did not. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. There is no single set of Native American Ten Commandments, as different tribes have diverse traditions, and the concept is a modern interpretation rather than a historical document. However, several versions of Native American or Indian commandments exist, generally emphasizing a deep respect for the earth, the Great Spirit, all life, and community values like truthfulness, responsibility, and kindness. Okay. All right. So they stepped out of bounds. Y'all did something to step out of those bounds right there. Okay. Conflicts between Native American tribes did occur, but they are distinct from the larger Native American wars, which referred to the conflicts between Native American peoples and the European colonists. Okay. Intertribal conflicts, often over resources or territory, that right there, didn't respect the land, were common and predated colonization, with examples including the rivalry between the Blackfoot and Cree and the Beaver Wars involving the Iroquois and Algonquins. I'm sorry if I apologize again and in advance to any other names if I don't get them correctly. The American Indian Wars are a different category of conflict involving Native American resistance against settlers and the U.S. military. Okay, yeah. So this is where you guys were stepping out of bounds. And we're not talking about the Europeans. This is like Indian versus Indian. That's how you guys were stepping out of bounds. Because I know I've heard stories. I mean, there's even historical documentation of basically going in, taking over territories, killing the men, you know, assaulting the women, assaulting the daughters, killing the children. Like, you can't be doing that. You want to sit here and say you're all about all life, but then, like, you go and do this type of shit. So that's where you overstepped. And that's also karma. Nature of conflict. These were wars between Native American tribes. Okay, no, we're not talking about... between... I feel like I'm going back to a history class right now. American tribes, yeah. Okay, tribal conflicts stemmed from issues like revenge, prestige, and competition for resources, while conflicts with settlers were driven by land encroachment, broken treaties, and depletion of resources like buffalo. Okay. Alright, but we get it. The Europeans are not innocent. We get that. We're trying to figure out what it is that Native Americans did to step out of their bounds. Okay, conflicts between Native American tribes, motivations, warfare, blah, blah, blah. Warfare was often fought over traditional grievances, for revenge for lost family members, to maintain tribal honor, or for maintain tribal honor. That just gives me that whole honor killing stuff that, I don't really know what religion does that. Is it just certain Middle Eastern or just Muslim? I don't know. But when you do an honor killing, that's not okay. Again, that's stepping out of the bounds. You sit here and you say you're all about this, that, and the third, and then you're doing all this shit. Like, it's hypocritical. That is the karma that this is referring to. The Iroquois fought among themselves for centuries before forming a confederation, and the Cherokee were in near constant conflict with their neighbors. The Lakota took the Black Hills from the Cheyenne by force in the 1770s. Come on, man. So, like, we all need to start taking accountability for our actions. There's reasons why things happen. You can't sit here and do stuff like this and think that you won't get some type of karma. Period. Prevalence warfare was common in regions like the Northeast, Southeast, and Great Plains, but less so in others. So basically, yeah, so the karma that was there for was because of stepping out of bounds due to what you guys were supposedly meant to stand for. And that is deep respect for the earth, meaning that it's not your territory, this is God's territory. We need to treat it with respect, and you guys didn't do that. The Great Spirit, again, doing that offends the Great Spirit. All life, if you're going around killing people, you obviously don't respect all life. And community values like truthfulness and responsibility and kindness. Truthfulness meaning, taking accountability for your own actions, for one, and responsibility for your own actions. And kindness, obviously, some of that didn't really go down either. And especially, like, say this is the head honcho of the company, and the head honcho of the company basically says, hey, you guys, go over there and take what you can and bring it over here. And you guys go ahead and do it, right? That karma extends to everybody that this guy rules over in that tribe, colony, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Okay? Everybody there is going to get it. In one form or way, like in one fashion or another. What was that movie that I was watching? Oh, The Missing with Cate Blanchett. I think it was 2003. Basically, it's early settlers. Like, this is about European settlers and whatnot, but they were just living their lives, right? They were just doing their own thing, and they go out hunting. And then these guys were like, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and kill the dad, and then take the women and sell them into slavery, or sell them and get money for it. You overstepped your bounds. You stepped out of bounds. That was your karma. So, but at the end of the day, the reason why the settlers came over was so, like, the 5D reason was for everybody to basically get along, you know, share their religion, share their traditions, get to know one another, peace, harmony, yada yada. But apparently you always got that one bad apple that ruins the whole batch. And that's on both sides. Because if they, you know, say like, yeah, say that person over there did what they did, but that doesn't mean you just go around to any other person that, you know, is a white person or is a Native American person and then take them all out. Like, what? Just heard a big old bang. That is confirmation. Is there any more messages you would like to get out about this type of situation? Do we have any more messages we would like to get out in general regarding the Native American Indians versus the Europeans? No. Hold on, honey. I'm just going to ask real quick, is King Henry VIII in heaven? No, he's in hell. He's been coming out a lot too, but you know, for him to sit here and be like, I'm going to kill my wife because she's having an affair. Dude, like, you basically pumped the whole court. Any woman that allowed you to do it, that's what you did, and you're going to sit here and be a freaking hypocrite? No. It's confirmation. So we're going to get into that too. So he obviously wants to ascend as well, but, you know, he kind of pisses me off for what he did. So, but, you know, I cannot be that. I'm not the judge. I'm the messenger. If me helping them to ascend is what I'm supposed to do, then that's what I'm going to do. So I have to do a little bit more research into that. Like, literally the levels of hell. Apparently there's 13 levels of hell. Confirmation, my chime just went off. And I got to figure out how that works. Whether it's a ladder, staircase, or even a spiral. And I keep getting spiral. I'm seeing more spiral than anything. Alright. I guess that's it for tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to do some research. If not tomorrow, Tuesday, because I might need to take a day in order to do more research on how they want me to help them ascend. And I get there's going to be a lot of people that are like, don't help them, they deserve to be down there, da da da. They're still going to have to go through whatever it is they need to go through. They're still going to need to do that. But I think it's more of like a guidebook, in a sense. I'm giving them kind of like a guide on how to do it. Because I can't sit here and just wave a wand around and be like, okay, you go to heaven, you go to heaven, you go to... Yeah, but we're not doing that. You still have to, or they still have to, go through the motions before going in there. You know what I mean? That light just flickered when I said that. They still have to go through the motions of how to get into heaven. It's just, they probably need an idea of exactly how to do that because they're probably just going around in circles. Like, they don't know what to do. So, alright. That's going to be it for tonight. You guys have a good one, and I will see you on the next one. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye!